Hey guys, I apologize for my voice. I'm working through a sickness and I cannot pass up on a filming day. Also, I know my foundation looks crazy. I'm also filming a first impression wear test, so I wasn't able to fix up the color of the foundation. I love the way my eye makeup turned out today, so let's focus on that instead. But today I'm going to be sharing all of the best products that I used up this year. I am going to have my year of makeup empties coming soon, but these are the products specifically that I used and really loved and would love to purchase again. And there actually were several products that I thought I enjoyed, but after painting them I decided I actually would not buy them. So let me know if you would be interested in seeing that. That's something that might be nice for some short form content. But I did do one of these videos last year and loved it, so I will have that linked down below. And I basically didn't want to mention these in my regular yearly favorites, which will be coming soon as well, but wanted to give them a shout out. There were 3 primers I ended up really loving this year. First two would be the Becca Backlight Priming Filters. Unfortunately, this is no longer available. These were half-ounce sizes, so together I used up 1 fluid ounce. I'm so sad that Smashbox did not pick up these products. I know they have their own primers, but this is a gorgeous champagne glowy primer, but it does not make me oily at all or greasy. This is one of the only glowy primers that has ever worked for me, so I'm so sad that it is a goner, but I loved every second of using these. And then you can't even tell what it is because the packaging peeled off, which was super annoying. This is the Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Pore Smooth Blur Drops. I feel like these went really quickly. Part of that I think is the packaging, and I was getting out more product than I needed, so I just need to be careful with it again if I get it again. This only has a 6-month shelf life, which is crazy, although it did last way longer than that. But at first I did not think this was worth the hype because this does not fill in your pores. If you've got deep pores, this is only gonna make a slight difference, but I do think this gave an all over smoothing finish and was actually a little bit mattifying. So by the time I used it up, I was like, oh wait, I actually do like this. And I love trying new primers, but I'm actually very picky and don't fall in love very often. So I was surprised by that one. And then I did use up another discontinued fave, the Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. This is also supposed to be a 6-month shelf life, but this has been discontinued for years. But this was a brand new bottle. I love this. This does have a cooling sensation. It is mattifying, it is smoothing, and it does not make my makeup apply or wear off in a patchy way. This is one of the only mattifying primers that actually works well for me. The new Benefit Professional Matte Primer is the closest thing that I've found, so I'm really happy I have that one as an alternative. But Too Faced did us dirty by discontinuing this collection. Us oily girls, we need a whole line. The Milk Pore Eclipse is good, but not quite as mattifying as the Peach Perfect was. I did use up a couple foundations this year, and all of them I thought were favorites at some point, but the other 3 I feel kind of meh about, where this one, still the best, baby. Estee Lauder Double Wear. When I first started wearing makeup, I loved the Revlon Color Stay Oily Combo version, which has changed too many times over the years, and I loved this. And this is still so good. I feel the formula has changed. Estee Lauder will tell you it hasn't changed, but I think this is amazing. Medium buildable full coverage, has more of a satin finish, incredibly long wearing, which is great because I have really long days and kids that like to touch my face. So this is incredible. I have one W1 Bone, which is a little dark for me, best for the summer. So I have repurchased this, and I have one W0 Warm Porcelain, which is a really good match for me. So definitely recommend this. I know that this has a reputation of being really heavy and cakey. I don't think it's that way whatsoever. This is a really fluid consistency that just looks beautiful. I have 3 concealers that I absolutely love, 2 Holy Grails, and 1 that was a surprise favorite. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in Cloud. This is just a little mini. I've tried this before in Swan, I believe, and it matched my skin tone well, but wasn't light enough for brightening, and I ended up painting it as a foundation because you get so much product. But Too Faced sent me this little mini, a few other minis, and a full size of Cloud, and it's a great shade for me. I do think this is a great full coverage concealer with more of like a natural satin finish. It's really fantastic, so definitely recommend it, and you can buy this on Flip. And then my 2 Holy Grails, Tarte Shape Tape is still that bish. I love her so much. I've loved her for years. I just love full coverage makeup, and 12 in Fair Neutral is an amazing brightening shade. This gives full coverage, has a satin finish. It's not drying on me, but I have oily skin, oily under eyes, so this is amazing. And I have one tube right now, and I also just picked up another as my diamond gift because I didn't like the other options, and I think that's how I got my last tube as well, but I still think this is the best. Then I have the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer in 1 in Light Neutral. I think Estee is coming out with a new concealer. I'm worried that it's this one, and that please be repackaged and not reformulated, because this is perfect. And I think I said I have 1 in Light Neutral. I use this for my blemishes, and they also have a pretty decent shade range. I also like this for under my eyes. This is a full coverage concealer that has a satin finish, but it stays in place super well. If you guys remember back in the day, a MAC Pro Longwear concealer, I think that this formula is essentially the same, but in different packaging with a doe foot applicator. So I already have a backup, thank goodness. 1 tube of this lasts me a year because luckily I don't have acne that much, or it's good enough for my foundation to cover it up. So absolute must have for me. I still haven't found anything I like better. I do like the NARS Pot Concealer, but I actually like that one better for under my foundation and this one better for over top. So I'm fine having them both, but the NARS does not beat this one for me. Then for powder, you guys know my Dermablend loose powder is my favorite. I can't remember if I had it in a project this year, if I put it in the Charmed project or Deck of Panning, but if I did, you guys know that's my holy grail translucent loose powder. It's incredibly smoothing on the skin, sets the makeup perfectly, and even though it doesn't claim to be mattifying, I do think that it helps keep me a little bit more matte, and it does give a brightening effect on the skin. It does make my makeup look a little bit lighter, which is perfect for setting my concealer because almost every other translucent powder makes it darker. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you have a concealer that is too light, if you set it with that powder, it's probably gonna look even lighter. So just keep that in mind, but it's my holy grail translucent powder. Nothing has beat it. I've been through a million in my lifetime. But my other two favorites, this is a many year holy grail, and this was a surprise favorite. So I will start with the holy grail Rimmel Stay Matte in Transparent, the best pressed mattifying powder. It does not make me cakey, and this is something that is so easy to use to set my skin, but also to touch up. I do usually try to blot with a piece of toilet paper and then go on with this, but even if I just go on top, it doesn't make my makeup bunch up in those areas, and it just goes perfectly into the skin. The only negative is the packaging, but this is a holy grail item I already repurchased, and one of them takes me a while to go through. This is a surprise favorite that really just became a favorite at the end of the year, and there's a specific reason. So this is the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in Airy. This shade is a little bit too light for me, but that's actually why I ended up loving it, because this is something that I actually am going to repurchase from Flip to use to keep as a lightener. So on days like today, where, I mean, today this is too much, I would use a foundation lightener, but on days where I finish my makeup and I'm like, uh-oh, that's a little bit too dark, this has enough pigment to it where I can use just this with a brush, and it is gonna help even out the color of my makeup. And I wouldn't say this is like powder foundation level, but it definitely does show up on the skin. This is a really great powder for everybody unless you're wanting to be really matte. So I never had issues with this hard panning, but I also do not wear really wet dewy foundations. If you do, you're gonna get a little hard pan, but it's amazing that this really does set your skin without making you feel dry, and I haven't found any other powder like that. There are some other ones that I've used, like the Rare Beauty pressed powder. I think that is kids play makeup because it like literally does nothing. My skin does not feel set at all. It still feels tacky, but this is set without being flat matte. I do think this is very impressive, and this has never smelled on me where the bronzers do. This does not for some reason. The packaging does break, so that's annoying, but they don't have a perfect shade match for me. The next shade up, Brazy, is a little bit too dark, but I, again, would buy it in this shade Airy to use to help lighten the look of my makeup. If it wasn't my skin tone shade, I probably would not buy it because I just like something a little bit more mattifying, but I do think this is a really impressive formula and really special and would recommend it. Next, I have two cream cheek products. The first is from Merit. This is the Bronze Balm in Clay. I actually scraped this out and got every last bit out of here. It took me so long to get through this, which is great. Definitely, I mean, I got it NPR, but if I would have purchased it, I would have got my money's worth. This is a very sheer formula, so definitely go a shade darker than you think. Clay is the second shade in the range. This is a sheer formula. It is pretty emollient, but it doesn't break down on me. It does have more of a glowy finish, so I will put this on, set my skin with powder, and then go on with a powder bronzer. I think this is really nice, especially up on my hairline. Because I'm so fair, bronzer tends to look crazy on me, especially up on my hairline. But I have a really big forehead. I like the look of having bronzer on my forehead, so I'm trying to, you know, find the best brushes and colors and formulas and placement so that it doesn't look crazy, and this is just great. So something that I definitely will purchase again in the future, but right now I have too many products that I need to work through. And then surprisingly, this is a little foil sample of the NARS Afterglow Liquid Blush in Orgasm. I'm still so mad at myself that I did not check out when the original formula was on sale on the NARS site and free shipping, because since then it's either been sold out and not restocked, or it's not on sale. I can't remember, but that's one of those things where I was like, oh, Heather, you should have just purchase in the moment. Don't wait for later, because then you're gonna forget, or it's gonna sell out, or whatever it is. And I haven't heard good things about this formula. I've heard that these are a little bit too sheer. This one, at least in the sample, worked perfectly. It was so beautiful and glowy and healthy on my skin, gave just the right amount of pigment. I'm not afraid of shimmer, and I think this looked beautiful. However, instead of buying this, I did buy the Juvia's Place version. I can't remember if it's Soft Tulip Glow or Rosy Posy Glow. That one is a little bit more pigmented, just as easy to work with, looks just as beautiful on the skin. So I bought that one instead, but I really loved every single bit of using this up. Next, for eyes, I did use up 3 pencil liners, which is amazing, but none of these are available anymore, and I'm head over heels in love with all of them. So I have really, really watery eyes, so I prefer a drier formula, and I know a lot of people don't like that, so you would not like these if you prefer a creamy pencil. But first, we have the Joseph Colors eyeliner in Teddy. This is something that I liked, but I didn't think that I loved it, but there wasn't that much of it left, so I knew it would be easier to pan, and I ended up loving this. Okay, I'm trying to get a little swatch here. The nubbin fell on the ground and I can't see it because I don't have my glasses on, but this is like a rosy brown, which is so pretty. And I actually really ended up liking this in spring, paired with more of my peachy pink eyeshadows. I wouldn't have thought I would have liked those together, but I think it looked really, really beautiful. And this did break several times though, because this is a dry formula, but also this was pretty old in my collection. So if this was still available, I would buy it again. And then we've got these two from ColourPop. This was limited edition from several years ago. This is called Rosette. It was from the Make It Black collection. And I think it just fell out too. Oh my gosh, it did just fall out. But this is like a rose gold copper mix. It is so beautiful. And again, I love this with my spring makeup looks, and I love the metallic formula from ColourPop. It's so gorgeous. And then we have Brickell, which is a amazing copper. Okay, there's none left in here to even swatch. And this is a really nice orangey copper. I don't have anything similar. I have bronze from Persona, which is a coppery bronze, but nothing quite like this, and that makes me so sad. I have Get Lucid from ColourPop, which is basically like a mix between the two of these. This one had a little bit more of like champagne in there, where the Get Lucid is more pink than this one is, but it really kind of falls in the middle. It's a good alternative, but not a dupe. So I just loved all of these so much. I really love finishing off my look with a little bit of liner on the lower lash line, and I'm really sad these are gone, but I loved using them so much. And lastly, I have lip products. First was something from my year-long project, the ColourPop 4th Ray Beauty Rudolph Lip Scrub. And this was just like a pepperminty type of scent. I don't understand why more brands don't have a mint lip balm and lip scrub. I'm just not a fruity scented person, but this was so nice. I do think that this was really nice and exfoliating. Wasn't too gentle, wasn't too harsh. You get a ton of product in here. I thought about getting the one from the Frosty collection, but I decided against it because I don't have to have a lip scrub. I do think it's nice. I recommend keeping these in the shower. Just for me, it makes it easier to remember to use them because they can be a little bit messy and leave a little bit of like oily residue on my mouth, or if I had makeup on, it would mess up my foundation around my mouth. So I do think this is a really good product if you're wanting a lip scrub. They have, well, unless they've discontinued them, I don't know what they have left that's permanent, but I like the formula. Then for colored lippies, everything else is a lip gloss. I was so surprised by how much I enjoyed this, the Morphe Madison Beer lip gloss in Venus. This was almost like a lip gloss lip lacquer hybrid because it was so pigmented and stayed in place really well, but was not sticky. This is a beautiful, like warmer mauve nude. I loved it. I was so surprised. I went through it pretty quickly, but if this was available again, I would buy it. Then the most expensive lippy I used up would be from Fit Glow Beauty. This is their lip color serum in Buff, a really pretty warm rosy nude. This is also kind of like a lip lacquer gloss formula. It is that lip serum is a good description for it, but it is a little bit thicker, so it stays on the lips without feeling thick, heavy, or sticky. I've literally never tried anything like this. I understand why they're so pricey. They did take me a while to go through, and I would consider buying these again if I could get them on super sale. I am gonna pan my other shade coming up, but I really, really loved that, and the color is just so gorgeous. Then I did finish 3 Tower 28 Milky Lip Jellies. This is my favorite gloss formula of all time. I think that these give a really nice medium opacity, super glossy finish, very smooth on the lips, not sticky at all. But I enjoy that. I don't mind reapplying them. I get through these pretty quickly, not absurdly so, but pretty quickly, but they are more affordable for a high-end Sephora brand. You also can get Tower 28 from Flip, so definitely go there and pick these up, or any of your other favorites like the mascara. And the 3 shades that I finished would be Pistachio, Cashew, and Chestnut. So Chestnut was a limited edition shade, unfortunately, but they did bring it back once. So I do actually have backups of all of these, which is why I wanted to pan them. Because this is a clean beauty brand, these can go bad a little bit quickly. So I'm really happy I got to them before they did. There were some of them where I could tell towards the end we were getting there. So I really want to make sure my other ones don't expire. I would love for them to come out with more shades because I love this formula, but because they go bad, I do feel like this is a formula that's best to have if you have a smaller collection, smaller than me. But I loved every bit of these. I think these are just my type of colors. Pistachio is a great, more like neutral, light pink. And then you've got 2 nice warm nudes. Cashew's a little bit more yellowy, but looked very flattering on the lips. These are just so good. So unless I forgot something, those were my absolute favorite products that I finished up this year. Again, coming up will be my favorite new products of the year, as well as my big video with all of the makeup that I finished this year. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching this. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've tried these products. I would love to know your favorite products that you finished up this year. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.